Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the rationalinvestor.com's daily brief recap. We're working with a new platform here on Google, so we don't quite know whether it's actually firing yet or not. Don't quite know whether I can hear the audio is kicking in and out. Hey, I think we're going. Know whether I can hear the audio. Yay. So, welcome back to the rationalinvestor.com's daily brief recap. I don't know whether you got that first intro or not. Kevin and I are still trying to figure out. YouTube's gone and changed the rules on us, and thankfully I've got Kevin here. He's such a whiz at this stuff. He's figured out roughly how we're supposed to do this, so here we go. All right, so welcome back to the frivolity. Of course, up and down and all over the place, day by day, minute by minute. I would really caution everybody, try and go slowly here. There is a temptation, of course, to try and pick bottoms. Some of our site OGs are banging out just ridiculous option wins here. We have been talking about stocks like Disney and, Carnival Cruise Lines and stuff like that. If you get yourself into a position where you can snipe in and grab call options when the sky's falling, you can do very, very well. And a couple of our OGs were just posting just some insane trades this morning. So congratulations to those. Old band Beamish, I'm a little bit, slow. And I like to see signs of a bottom come in before I go and risk my money. So, Brian's going to be looking for the W's. But, hats off to those people. And actually, it was really cool is Carnival Cruise Lines, actually, you're able to get the options charts from, I think, E-Trade was where one of our OGs was hunting his options ideas. So let's see if I can find the image here just to show you, because it was quite remarkable, the trades that I saw people posting this morning. Where is Joshua's options trade? Somewhere around here. Here it is. He calls it his knife catching for the win. So Joshua banged out this win on Carnival Cruise Lines. You can see the W, but this is extremely advanced trading. So don't think that I'm going to be talking to the public about this kind of stuff. This is high octane stuff. So, but the point here. TRIers, whether it be through the options market. Today, in particular, Thursdays, we have the baby powder report, which is a report from Julian, reporting in from the tropical islands of, I can't even remember where he said, something like, you gotta ask him. Somewhere out down in the South Pacific. Ironically enough, he's actually enjoying a pretty good life through all this. He's just trading up the gold market like just a monster here, just having a lot of fun, just basically trying to follow his plan. And he's on the long side. He rode that gold market rally up. So congratulations, Julian. Nice job. And I think site members, each and every day of the week, we try to have a different member of the community come on and give a presentation of what they're seeing in the market. And I really like how sort of Thursdays are Julian's day, Monday is Fjord's day, with Jamie sprinkled in every couple weeks. We have Fridays is Colin's day. So it's turned out to be actually a really great product, this daily brief. Day in, day out, something for everybody to chew on. With regard specifically to your guys over on YouTube, I do like to just, we try to keep these presentations somewhat the same message day in, day out, just a quick overview of what I'm sort of seeing in market state, that kind of thing. And just give you an overview if I happen to see something that looks attractive in the market. I'll start off just simply with our regular commentary about the US dollar index. I think we had been commenting about inside bar failures, fractal tops up at megaphone tops recently on the idea that the US was going to dilute its currency and take on more debt and provide some liquidity to the world. And sure enough, US dollar index has calmed back down. And our comments recently were just simply, as long as this is now working its way lower, I think you can start to see the reflation of our economy start to begin. So if we think, basically calm down, just relax, and as this thing is calming down and relaxing, we sort of see a stabilization. You can see across a number of different assets, my little banking stock, which I'm interested in. Little utility stocks. Here is a stock that's in the hospitality industry. Oh boy, what a terrible place to be right now, but you can see that it's gone and put in bottoms. And all three of these I'm very interested in actually going and acquiring. We can talk a little bit about that in a bit. Unfortunately, because of this sort of V top, V bottom nature of price action right now, I don't have any trends establishing. And my hunch is at some point we'll start carving out M's and W's and start to see trends. For now, it's still very back and forth choppy. What I'm really worried about here right now, and through the daily brief I had sort of talked about this, I've been through at least about 4 or 5 of these crises, and every crisis always, and this will happen for the rest of your lives too, every crisis, whatever it is in the present, in the near term, is always much, much worse than any other crisis that has ever come before us. It's just the way these crises go. So not surprising that basically the media spiel is this crisis is the worst that we've ever seen. I will say, in my 30 years experience in the market, I have not seen a market stay like this. You do not get GDP data and employment data and stuff basically saying the wheels have completely fallen off the bus every day. This is a very unique time period. So I'm not going to be sitting here lulling myself into believing that, all right, that was the bottom, away we go. In fact, anything but. Usually these fear cycle apexes, and keep in mind, these are like, from fear cycle to fear cycle, it's like literally 35, 40 years in duration. So, do these cycles take some time to go through the pivot? I think the answer is a blatant yes. If we look at the last fear cycle, the 1980 fear cycle, we had the Iran hostage situation that went on for 444 days. If you look at the previous fear cycle to that, that was the height of Hitler's rampage across Europe. And specifically through that cycle was the Battle of Britain and the Blitz, which made no sense whatsoever, and that went on many, many, many months. And the Battle of Britain went on for, they even say a good year or two. So we are in that kind of market state, and I'm a little worried because I think this is going to be extremely volatile, going both up and down. And I'm worried that people are like, okay, well, the U.S. government's going to throw a whole bunch of new debt at the equation, problem solved, business as usual. And I just don't think that's the type of environment that we're in right now. On the initial dump in risk on assets, it was extremely violent, and I think it probably caught a lot of Wall Street pros off guard. My hunch is whatever this sort of counter trend rally is, you're going to see a bunch of positions squaring probably against all of these previous support levels. You'll see some sort of reaction peak come in. And what I'm worried about here is that, Wall Street has assumed that the bailout is in now. And I've seen this happen a few of these cycle crises where the Senate scrambles to get something together. It's controlled by one political party. the stock market has a huge counter trend rally. Like I heard today, one of the companies that desperately needs help is Boeing. And does it make sense? I mean, ask all yourselves. If Boeing is up, it's 13% today, but in essence, we're almost, I mean, gee whiz, this is ridiculous. We're almost double the price we were just a week ago. And you can see all the buying interest. Are there going to be like Democrat politicians that are going to say, bailout, screw you? Why don't you give your workers a bailout? Why is your stock price moving up so much? And if Wall Street is rallying, and then who comes out and goes, greatest stock market rally in U.S. history. What do you think the odds are that the leftist leaning political party in the House of Representatives goes, whoa, 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 slow down, slow down. We have not rubber stamped this yet. I mean, it's shockingly cliche how this stuff works. It just leaves me in awe year in, year out. It's always the same crap. So I don't know whether it's really healthy for us to assume that the bottom is in. And I'm wondering whether, what should have happened was that the stock market just be down and stay down. And then we could go through the process of cleaning all this up. If Wall Street rallies too egregiously here, I could very easily see, over the weekend, the politicians start going, I don't know. So anyway, we'll see what happens. You can see S&P 500. There's a V bottom. It is interesting to see that oil just cannot get off its knees here. Even while we're going through this dead cat bounce phase. So that's a bit of a surprise, but nonetheless, it is what it is. And of course, you know me, I don't really like oil at all now. Given that the stock market is rallying so egregiously here, I don't think it should surprise us that the sort of risk-off assets are kind of just treading water here right now. If anything, if we see the stock market, industrials, right, that if we start to see that coming back, I think, I'd made a conjecture recently that we could see silver actually jump right back up. It's more of the industrial metal and do something similar along the lines of gold. And we've been sort of watching that on the site as silver is trying to play catch up. You can see that, where are we here? There's the peak there, eh? So yeah, that aligns. So you can see that the peak there aligns with this peak here in silver. The gold is now pressed right back up against those highs. I wouldn't be surprised to see silver also continue to work its way higher here. And you might even see silver outperform relative to gold based on, if the economy really is all that great. Now, the problem that I have with the stock market right now is we look at the derivatives information, and it also says that, it's in the derivatives boys' interest to get the market up here. But once we get up into this sort of 258, 260 area, then actually there's no more incentive to take the market any higher. So I wonder whether this rally here fizzles into that options expiry tomorrow. There was vested interest to get the market up here, and then we roll over, and then, like I said, politicians and stuff, they start balking, and we have to come back down and test these lows. And usually bottoms in the market look like W's. They don't look like V's. We'll see what happens. Only time will tell. With regard to the risk-off assets, if we do see this scenario play out, I could see the risk-off assets move higher here if stock market rolls over in that whole political scenario that I talked about, and maybe the bailout's in question, U.S. dollar rallies back up top, blah, blah, blah. We could probably even do just a simple 38.2 off of these peaks to get an idea of where we should see some play here on the U.S. dollar. And gee whiz, we're basically at that level right now, and you can see there was a real battle at these pivots here. So, we might see that the U.S. dollar slowly turns here and starts to march back up as we get ready for the weekend, and then all that uncertainty around the politicians, blah, blah, blah. Some of the individual stocks I've been watching that I'm I'm still interested in playing in the junior stock market, but I don't know whether it's such a good idea to be taking risks in that space until we actually start seeing some solid floors being put in the bigger indexes. I am very interested in hunting value in the stock market for things like my registered accounts. And I think I told you recently I went and bought some of this Silvergate below cash on the books. And actually, I'm quite pleased to see that now it's gone and W'd. Could we come back down and play against these lows as the S&P comes back down? Absolutely. Don't chase any of this stuff, please. And like this ALA, for example, confirm the W now if I wanted to be buying, and I do want to be buying. So, on this ALA, for example, I'm just simply now drawing my fibs and waiting for reload zones. So, boobity-boo. Boobity-boo. So you can see where Brian would be interested in taking a long shot. Not here. I'm going to be patient and just wait for a test of these lows and see if these lows actually hold on the next test. So that's sort of what I'm doing in stock market land, not really speculating in stock market right now. I think it's extremely dangerous. As I had said earlier, some people are in there speculating in the stock market, trading options, trading the individual commodities. And they're having fun. It's just maybe old man Beamish. I'm a little bit leery about getting too jazzed about taking risks just yet. When we head on over to the corn, I had put sort of tweets out to this effect. Something seems really fishy about this price action. If gold is rallying back up top and silver's starting to catch a bid, what's going on with the corn? It is interesting to see that we could technically make the argument this is a shorting trade location for the lower time frames. They're taking shots there. I don't know. I mean, I know that there are other people on this side. Like I said, there are a number of people who are hunting setups. There's 38.2s. We should see some sort of play in here. But what I find really interesting, and of course that's a nice little diamond pattern that's forming there. You can see the inside bar. We're going to be setting up one of these bull-bear battle lines shortly here. But one of the things that sort of left me scratching my head, and then it sort of clued into me, was, why is Bitcoin's price so very, low volatility right now? And then lo and behold, we found out that, of course, CME has an expiry coming up tomorrow on these futures contracts. So I do believe that a lot of the reason why I think Bitcoin is quote-unquote parked here right now is because somebody over on the CME has a vested interest in this thing just going out at or near these specific levels. So keep that in mind. At the same time, too, the inertia seems to still be to the upside, so I'm not really in a huge hurry to declare that whatever this dead cat bounce is over. If anything, you can see our good old moving average sandwiches. 13 EMA, it's tough to see on Litecoin here, but 13 EMA, actually Litecoin's fighting with its 13 EMA, can't hold on to it, But over on the corn, we did jump above 13 EMA, and we're sort of diamonding out here, and there's 30 SMA, which usually acts as a pretty good breaker in short term. So I think we're sort of in that moving average sandwich kind of conversation right now. And if we drill down to sort of like, medium to lower time frames, this is the chart that I've been putting out here publicly recently. It just sure feels like somebody said, I want Bitcoin at around 6,500 into expiry, and Bitcoin, you stop. I think it makes it pretty easy here. We resolve up through the diamond. I had shown you a couple higher time frame charts. You can see the diamond off of this chart. It looks, and it's not the prettiest. I'm not going to say it's textbook, but something along these lines. If whatever we resolve out of this range, and you can probably use that one candle itself to sort of give you the barometer. Yes, we've resolved higher. No, we failed. Whatever the resolution of this triangle is, it's definitely going to dictate our fate going forward. 4 hours, we talked to you guys recently about bot setups. And of course, the Fed's bazooka day. And it's interesting, Julian, when he walked through his gold trades and he's long. In essence, that trade was exactly the same moment on his gold as you can see here on Bitcoin. Move stop to scratch level hit. So in essence, if this diamond resolves bearishly, which would basically be a loss of these levels, then I think, you just got to walk away at scratch. Jury's definitely out. Like I said, I think that this is all about that contract expiry tomorrow. It's interesting how our GAN studies 50% of time also corresponds with that, suggesting that, once we hit one of these apex event windows, expect some sort of change. So something's about to develop here. As we sort of shown you here, the bull has got the ball right now. The question is, does the bull fumble and does the bear take over? And you can see that we've actually lost this uptrend line. So we're pretty precarious here. Now we could technically get market structure on the other side of the trend line to actually justify thinking short here. And of course, as I had said before, if I wanted to be a buyer of Bitcoins right now, as I've shown you off of a number of charts, really I would prefer to be hunting longs down here. So maybe this diamond resolution failure sets up our next sort of pivot window from here to here. I don't know. I mean, you never know in this crazy game. But that's sort of what I'm thinking right now. If we're lucky, we can get another push higher here and actually hit all these bot objectives and stuff before we hit that that catalyst. And this is just pure conjecture. I have no idea what's going to happen. And, we often say that, your job as a trader is not to predict the future. It's just simply to identify setups and trade the setups. And I can very easily understand the idea that you're long, and if we fail and crap out here, you better get the hell out. Pretty simple. Interestingly enough, when I peruse the altcoins, not a hell of a lot going on here. I see, some of the and numerite names are trying to pop up here, but on balance, almost everything is still just sort of floundering around. Nothing really to get too excited about in altcoin land. But, as I said to you guys yesterday, same sort of conversation. Nothing really changes here. What the hell is the damn? The only thing that changes is Brian can't find the damn chart he wants to talk to you guys about. It's one of these. It must be this one. Yeah, there we are. The funny thing is if you are a trader, this trade setup is just sitting here on the shitcoins. It's not really doing anything. You can now you can kind of see a head and shoulders, an inverted head and shoulders forming. No idea how this is going to play out, but I can definitely see if this thing ticks up here, and now we're starting to get all these W's. This thing ticks up here, we're probably going to go shooting up top. And I do like the idea of that nice little rally just simply happening. Let the futures contracts expire tomorrow. CME boys have got some sort of agenda. And we might actually see that, and Julian showed this really well in his RSI studies, that pressure is really building up. It's building up. It's building up. It's building up. I think the fundamental picture is actually very bullish of things like Bitcoin. And I think you can make the argument that this gold has got the wind of its back as the printing presses have been turned on, blah, blah, blah. So I wouldn't be surprised if this weekend we actually see a release of a lot of that pent-up energy. I think it feels like somebody is just sitting on the corn here, and I think it has everything to do with that CME expiry. But we'll see what happens. I have no idea how long I've been blabbing away here today. I hope you guys have gotten some value out of all that rant. We'll see what happens. Interesting times. Trade your setups. If you buy W's and that setup works for you, markets are speaking. I do see W's coming in here. But at the same time, too, you just have to let go of your opinion and just trade your plan. And if the W's fail, you got to have the professionalism to hop off. It's just that simple. All right, everybody. Have yourselves a great day. All the best, and bye for now.